Imagine waking up every morning to um, a battle no one else can even see, not against, deadlines or difficult people or even the stuff going on outside your door.
Right.
No, this is a war, and it's raging inside you. It's silent, relentless, deeply personal. And the stakes, it's nothing less than who you become, who you're truly capable of being.
Big stakes.
Huge. So today, we're taking a deep dive into this really insightful collection of sources we've put together called The War Within, Discipline versus Comfort.
Yeah.
These excerpts, they don't just ask us to look inward. They really challenge us, I think, to confront the most significant adversary we have, and at the same time, maybe the most powerful ally, too.
Both sides of the coin.
Exactly, ourselves. It's a journey into these fundamental choices that, well, they sculpt our lives, don't they?
They absolutely do. And our source material here, it lays out this internal struggle with this stark clarity. It's almost uncompromising, actually.
Yeah, it feels that way.
It frames it not as some, philosophical idea, but as a fundamental daily choice, a choice that shapes every single aspect of our lives.
Every aspect.
That's what the sources suggest. So, we're going to systematically unpack these two warring factions within us. We'll explore the subtle, often really deceptive nature of comfort.
Okay.
And then reveal why discipline, why it isn't just some virtue your parents told you about. It's presented as the undeniable key to unlocking true freedom, purpose, and that higher potential we all kind of sense is in there somewhere.
Right, that feeling that there's more.
Exactly. And this isn't just about, understanding it intellectually. It's about recognizing it, internalizing it, and then actively choosing the path that defines your destiny, moment by moment.
Absolutely. And our mission today for you listening is to equip you not just to identify this invisible internal war, but really to arm you with the profound insights from these texts. The goal is to help you consistently win those daily battles. So get ready. There might be some genuine aha moments here that could fundamentally change how you approach, well, everything. Every single day, every decision. Your whole life's trajectory, maybe.
It's powerful stuff.
Okay, so let's start where the source material does. It kicks off by declaring this powerful truth. There is a war inside you that no one else can see.
Right there, up front.
Yeah, no messing around. It's described as this primal clash between two fundamental drives, often contradictory drives, actually.
Totally.
On one side, you've got this force pushing relentlessly for growth, for evolution, reaching beyond your current limits.
The drive upwards.
And then on the other side, there's this powerful, almost magnetic pull towards comfort, towards the familiar, the easy path, right? The path of least resistance.
The gravity of ease.
One demands discipline, the other, well, it feeds on distraction. And this conflict, it's playing out in your mind, your spirit, your actions, every waking moment, according to these sources.
And it's really vital, I think, to grasp that this isn't just a metaphor for, external struggles. That's a common way people might interpret it,
Yeah, I can see that. Blaming the job or the past.
Exactly. Your job, your past, your parents, the economy, whatever circumstances you're in. But what's truly profound in these sources is how they pivot that focus entirely inward.
Okay, how so?
They pinpoint the true adversary, not something external, but an internal force. It's that version of you that constantly makes excuses, that seeks to avoid discomfort, that prioritizes ease above, well, pretty much everything else.
Wow. So the enemy isn't out there.
Not according to this. It radically reframes how we see obstacles. It forces us, really, to shift from blaming external stuff to this deep internal accountability.
It's a big shift.
It is. It asserts, with this kind of chilling precision, that your greatest enemy isn't outside you. It's a part of you.
Okay, so talking about this internal war conceptually is one thing, but what does it actually sound like, inside our own heads?
Yeah, the sources give some pretty vivid examples. Well, think about that moment, that precise instant your alarm goes off. Maybe it's 5:30 a.m., still dark outside.
Ugh, yeah, I know that moment well.
Right. And one voice, it's warm, persuasive, whispers, just 5 more minutes. Come on, you've earned it. Stay comfortable. Hit snooze.
Yep, heard that one many times.
You can work out later, get that task done tonight. What's the rush? But then, almost immediately, another voice cuts through. It's sharp, clear.
The other side.
Yeah. Get up. There's a mission to complete. You're falling behind. Your goals aren't going to magically achieve themselves. This is your day.
Right. That inner drill sergeant sometimes.
Kind of. And the sources tell us that those few seconds, that tiny internal negotiation, It doesn't just decide your morning or even your day.
What does it decide then?
They argue it actually decides who wins this invisible war inside you, at least for that specific moment. That's a pretty powerful way to frame it, isn't it?
It really is. Just that snooze button decision becomes huge.
It's a microcosm, they suggest, of the larger, continuous internal conflict we're all navigating.
Okay, so delving deeper into this invisible war, the texts highlight something particularly cunning. It's about the nature of the enemy itself.
Mm-hmm. This is where it gets really tricky.
Yeah, the core idea presented is that the real adversary, that inner voice, it says things like, you can't, it's too hard, do it tomorrow. You know, the classic procrastination lines.
Fear, doubt, insecurity.
Exactly. But the most dangerous part, and this is what the sources really hammer home, is that this enemy sounds exactly like you.
Chilling, right?
Totally. It doesn't sound like some alien invader. It uses your voice, your thoughts, your feelings against you.
And that's a truly unsettling thought. If the enemy sounds just like us, I mean, how do we even begin to untangle that? How do you distinguish its whispers from your own, authentic voice, your true self?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? What guidance do the sources give on spotting this subtle saboteur?
Well, they emphasize its cunning. They tell us it knows your weaknesses, it knows your patterns, it knows how to talk you out of greatness.
So it's personalized sabotage.
Precisely. It's not generic self-doubt. It's a bespoke strategy, tailored just for you. It leverages your personal history, your past failures, your deepest vulnerabilities, all to keep you chained to comfort.
Wow.
So the key isn't necessarily looking for a foreign voice. It's about recognizing the pattern of resistance, that feeling of avoidance, the sheer predictability of your own unique excuses when you're about to do something hard or important.
Okay. So it's less about the voice, more about the message and the pattern.
Exactly. It's a master strategist that has studied you intimately your whole life.
That distinction feels really crucial. It's not fighting some abstract monster, but recognizing the specific personalized ways this internal enemy works in me.
Right.
Like, think about a goal you've set. Maybe it's learning a new language, starting an exercise routine, or, I don't know, launching that side project you keep dreaming about.
Okay.
You get that initial burst of excitement, right? That motivation. Yeah, I'm going to do this.
The initial high.
But then, maybe as you sit down to actually start, or even just think about starting, this voice pops up, perfectly tailored, designed to just stop you.
What kind of things does it say?
Oh, you're just too busy right now. There's always tomorrow. Or maybe, remember last time you tried this? You're not good enough anyway. You'll just fail again. Ouch.
Yeah, hits right where it hurts.
Or even something softer, like, what's the point of all this effort? Just relax. You deserve a break. And our sources suggest that's not just random noise in your head.
Yeah.
That's the enemy operating, whispering these personalized lies, perfectly designed to pull you back to comfort, pull you away from growth. It really shows how this internal enemy is custom designed to undermine your specific ambitions.
It's insidious because it feels so normal, so
Yeah.
reasonable in the moment.
Totally. Now, the sources are incredibly clear about the stakes involved here. The cost, the profound cost of consistently choosing comfort versus the rewards of discipline.
Yeah, they don't mince words.
No, they state, with this unwavering conviction, every time you choose comfort over growth, you feed the weaker version of yourself.
Ooh, feed the weaker version.
Yeah, you train your mind to surrender. You condition your soul to settle. That's heavy.
It really is. But conversely.
Conversely, every time you choose discipline over distraction, you sharpen your edge. You take back your power.
Yeah.
It's presented as this stark daily choice with these huge compounding consequences.
Precisely. And it's not just about willpower in that moment or, a momentary lapse. It's about deep psychological conditioning.
Conditioning. How so?
The sources argue that through these daily choices, we are actively training ourselves, either for surrender and stagnation or for empowerment and progress.
Like building a muscle or letting one atrophy.
Exactly. And this concept of training your mind to surrender is particularly profound. It suggests comfort isn't neutral. It's not just a harmless break. It's actively detrimental.
So choosing comfort actually weakens you for the next time.
That's the argument. Each choice for ease reinforces a pattern of giving up that compounds over time. It makes it exponentially harder to break free later. It's like that muscle, as you said, our capacity for discipline weakens with every avoidance.
Okay, let's zoom in on those seemingly small choices, because the sources insist they're anything but small.
Yeah, the small stuff is often the battlefield.
Right. Imagine you've decided, okay, I'm tackling that challenging report for work, Or, I'm finally sitting down to outline that book I want to write.
Got it. The important, maybe difficult task.
But instead of diving in, you find yourself just scrolling social media for an extra hour.
Right.
Or maybe binge-watching another episode of that show you've already seen 3 times.
I get all done it.
Of course. And it didn't feel like a conscious decision to quit on your goal, did it? It felt like, oh, I'm just unwinding, or I need a little break first.
Seems harmless.
But the sources challenge us on that. They say that wasn't just a momentary distraction. It was a deliberate vote.
Oh.
Yeah. A vote for comfort, for ease, for the path of least resistance. And what do these votes build up, according to the texts?
They build momentum for more comfort.
Exactly. Each vote for comfort reinforces a pattern of surrender. It feeds the weaker version of yourself, making it easier to choose comfort next time. While each vote for focus, even when it's hard, even when it's boring, that builds your capacity for future discipline, it strengthens your higher, more capable self.
But every choice is training.
That's the idea. And this leads us into the stark reality that this internal war, it often has an early victor, decided by these small, repeated, often completely unnoticed choices.
A scary thought.
Now, here's something compelling the sources point out: how easily most of us fall into the blame game.
Ah, yes, the external blame.
Right. We point fingers outward at the world, our past, our current situation, saying that's the reason we're stuck.
It's easier that way, isn't it?
Much easier. But the texts flat out assert, if you want to evolve, you have to break that cycle. It's presented as, like, step 1, non-negotiable for any real growth.
And this is where the sources demand something pretty intense. It's what you could call radical personal responsibility.
Radical.
Yeah, because if you connect this to the bigger picture, it's about owning your agency completely. The authors emphasize very directly, sometimes jarringly, no one is coming to save you.
Ouch. No rescue team.
Nope.
Okay.
No one is dragging you out of mediocrity. It's you. Always you. It shifts the entire locus of control, all the power, back to the individual.
Which is kind of terrifying, but also
Incredibly empowering, right? It means there's no external savior to wait for, which might feel lonely. But it also means the power to change, to transform, lies entirely within your grasp. You hold the key.
you hold the key to your own liberation from mediocrity, as you put it.
That's the potential.
So, okay, what does breaking that cycle actually mean day to day? How do we do it?
Well, fundamentally, it means stopping the wait.
Stopping the wait. For what?
For the right moment. For
Yeah.
motivation to magically appear. For someone else to push you or give you permission.
I know I've done that. I'll start when I feel more inspired, or I'll tackle that when things calm down.
We all do. But the sources state that the ones who truly grow, the ones who reach their potential, they're the ones who show up tired, scared, unmotivated, and still execute.
They do it anyway.
They do it anyway. It's about that consistent action, regardless of how you feel, knowing that the action itself often generates the motivation you thought you needed beforehand.
So action precedes motivation sometimes, not the other way around.
Often, yes. It's about that relentless effort, that repetition, carving your path right through the discomfort and the I don't feel like it feelings.
Okay, now the sources then issue this really powerful, almost chilling warning about comfort itself.
Yeah, comfort gets a really bad rap in these texts.
It really does. They say, comfort will try to convince you it's your friend. It whispers those sweet nothings, right? You're fine where you are. No need to push so hard. There's no rush. Relax.
It sounds nice, doesn't it? Like a warm blanket.
Totally. It paints this picture of safety, contentment. But then, the chilling truth, as the text states, comfort is the silent assassin of dreams.
Silent assassin. That's intense.
Isn't it? It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't attack loudly. It works in the shadows, slowly, deceptively.
And what's truly fascinating there is how insidious they describe it being. It doesn't strike suddenly, like a lightning bolt that wakes you up.
Right.
Instead, it creeps in slowly, wrapping itself around your ambition like a snake.
Whoa, like a snake.
Yeah. And that image explains why we often don't even notice its impact until, as the sources say, years have passed and you realize you haven't moved.
Because it was so gradual.
Exactly. It's not a sudden ambush. It's this slow erosion of your potential, a gradual dimming of that fire you once had. And it makes it incredibly hard to fight because in the moment it feels so natural, so harmless, even so deserved.
I deserve a break. I've worked hard.
Right. It's like that old story of the frog in the slowly boiling water. By the time you realize the danger, the heat's already got you. It might be too late.
That slow erosion, that's precisely what makes it so dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking about those New Year's resolutions that just fizzle out.
Happens all the time.
Was it usually a sudden, dramatic failure? Or was it more like a gradual, almost imperceptible slide back into the comfortable old routines?
Usually the slide, right?
Yeah. Skipping one workout, delaying one important task, making one small excuse. The sources say these actions aren't isolated incidents.
No, they're connected.
They actively feed the side of you that fears change, the side that loves ease.
Yeah.
And the more you feed it, the stronger it grows until comfort becomes your default way of living.
It becomes the norm.
Yeah, which highlights why we have to actively fight against it, because its subtle, gradual nature makes it a particularly potent killer of our
A
dreams.
silent assassin indeed.
The sources are also incredibly direct about the relationship between effort and value. They really challenge our modern craving for ease.
They do. They explain that comfort tells you that rest is the reward, not the effort.
Ah, interesting distinction.
Yeah. Comfort convinces you to expect results without sacrifice, to celebrate without struggle. It's that seductive lie in a world obsessed with instant gratification.
Get rich quick, effortless success.
Exactly. But the sources state, unequivocally, there is no glory without grind, no breakthrough without resistance. It's a powerful counter-narrative. Success requires the struggle.
So this raises a big question. What's the deep psychological impact of constantly avoiding that struggle? Of always taking the easy way?
Well, the sources connect struggle directly to value. They state, what you refuse to struggle for, you'll never value.
Wow, so the struggle itself creates the value.
That's the suggestion. There's this fundamental, profound link between the effort we invest, the challenges we overcome, and the appreciation, the fulfillment, the deep satisfaction we get from our achievement.
Makes sense. If something comes too easily, do we really cherish it? Does it feel earned?
Probably not as much.
Yeah.
And the texts warn us that avoiding the pain today, the temporary discomfort of effort, well, it will come back tomorrow as regret, as failure, as the pain of a wasted life.
So short-term comfort equals long-term pain.
That's the equation they present. It highlights that the discomfort of effort actually pays these huge dividends in long-term satisfaction and a life well lived, a life you actually value.
Think about, say, completing a marathon. All those months of consistent, often painful training, pushing your body past what you thought it could do.
Yeah, grueling stuff.
Or mastering a complex skill like playing the guitar or learning to code after just countless hours of deliberate, difficult practice.
The grind.
That deep sense of accomplishment you feel, that profound, I did it, feeling.
Yeah.
It comes precisely because of the grind, right? Because of the struggle.
Absolutely.
If it were easy, if anyone could do it without effort, would you value it as much? Our sources strongly suggest probably not. It's the resistance, the overcoming, the earned victory that gives the achievement its weight, its glory, its lasting value.
So the takeaway is pretty clear then.
Yeah. If comfort is the killer, the assassin of dreams, then we need to start embracing its opposite, discomfort.
That's where the growth happens. Hashtag comfort is the killer. Discomfort is where greatness lives.
Okay, so the sources use this striking image. They portray comfort not as some cozy haven, but as a cage.
A cage. Interesting.
Yeah, a cage that pretends to protect you, keep you safe from the big scary world out there. But really, it's keeping you small.
Protection that limits.
Exactly. And here's the kicker, the most liberating part, but maybe also the most frustrating. The door is wide open.
Wide open. So we're not actually locked in.
Nope. Not by external forces anyway. We're choosing to stay inside that cage, often without even realizing it.
Wow. That image is incredibly powerful, isn't it? It just strips away any illusion that our confinement is forced on us from the outside.
Right. It puts it all back on us.
It suggests our limitations are self-imposed. They're a product of our own choices, especially that subconscious, almost automatic choice to avoid fear, avoid failure, avoid the unknown.
We choose the cage because it feels safe.
Exactly. And what's fascinating is the implication that real freedom, true expansion, requires stepping into the very things we instinctively pull back from.
Like leaning into the fear.
Leaning into the fear, choosing to walk into the unknown, risking failure, consciously taking the harder path, even when it feels terrifyingly exposed. The cage isn't physical, it's psychological, built from our own avoidance.
Okay, so if the door is open, what does walking out of that cage actually look like? In practice, day to day.
Well, the sources are pretty clear on that, too. It means waking up early when you're exhausted.
Yes. There's that early morning again.
Yeah, it keeps coming up. It means Speaking when you're scared, showing up when no one's watching.
So it's not the glamorous stuff, not the highlight reel.
Definitely not. It's often unobserved, often uncelebrated in the moment, but the texts insist that's where greatness lives, that's where character is forged, that's where champions are made.
In those quiet, hard, uncomfortable moments.
When no one is applauding, that's where the real growth happens. Choosing the hard path when the easy one is right there, beckoning.
The sources also state, pretty bluntly, that comfort doesn't want you to grow because growth is uncomfortable by nature.
Simple truth, right? Almost a law of the universe.
Seems like it. Growth stretches you, it humbles you, it breaks you down only to rebuild you stronger. It really emphasizes that growth isn't some gentle, easy unfolding.
No, it's often disruptive, a transformation.
Yeah. And this explains, with such piercing clarity, why change is so damn hard for most of us.
It does. The text explicitly connects it. Change demands sacrifice, and comfort hates sacrifice.
There it is. Comfort hates sacrifice.
That connection growth, discomfort, sacrifice, it's not just an interesting idea, it's presented as a foundational insight into how we work as humans.
So you can't grow without some discomfort, some sacrifice.
Seems unlikely, according to this. And the sources argue that the pain of growth, it's temporary, it's a fleeting sensation, it passes, but the pain of regret lasts forever.
Oof. That hits hard. Temporary pain of growth versus lifelong pain of regret.
It's a powerful reevaluation, forcing us to weigh short-term feelings against long-term consequences. Avoiding discomfort today often leads to a far greater, more enduring pain, later the pain of a life unfulfilled. It's a trade-off we're constantly making, often without realizing it.
Here's where it gets really interesting and kind of visual.
Uh-huh.
Think about a butterfly emerging from its chrysalis.
Okay, yeah.
It's this intense struggle, right? A fight to break free, pushing, tearing, using all its might.
A difficult birth.
Now imagine you, being kind, decide to help it by carefully cutting open the chrysalis. What happens?
Uh-oh, I think I know where this is going. The butterfly probably wouldn't be strong enough, right?
Exactly. It often wouldn't survive because it hasn't developed the necessary strength in its wings through the struggle itself. The very act of fighting to break free is what builds its capacity to fly.
The struggle is the strengthening.
Yeah, precisely. And our sources suggest our own growth is just like that. The struggle, the discomfort, the breaking down of old limits, that's what builds the strength and character we need to truly live, to truly fly in our own lives.
Wow, powerful analogy.
So if comfort is the silent assassin, the killer of potential, what's the antidote? What's the force that propels us forward despite the discomfort?
Well, that leads us directly to discipline.
Okay, discipline. Our sources talk about this with an almost defiant tone. They say, discipline makes you unstoppable because it doesn't wait for a mood, a feeling, or the right time.
It operates independently of feelings.
Yeah, the right time is now. It's this powerful declaration that real, consistent action, it isn't held hostage by our fleeting emotions or waiting for perfect conditions that might never come.
Discipline is the engine. It keeps you moving, regardless of the weather inside or outside.
And this fundamentally redefines how we approach action, doesn't it? How we think about achieving things.
It really does. The sources state very clearly, you don't need motivation when you've already made the decision.
Whoa, say that again. You don't need motivation when you've already made the decision.
Right. The idea is you've trained your mind to follow through, not follow feelings. This implies this huge shift, moving away from reactive, emotion-driven behavior.
Which is how many of us operate.
Often, yeah. And moving towards proactive, decision-led action. It positions discipline as this unwavering engine of consistency. It propels you forward even when your feelings are screaming, stop, or stay comfortable, or you're too tired.
So it's about building that mental toughness, that internal compass that overrides the temporary static.
Exactly. It creates a pathway for progress, almost inevitably if you stick with it.
That distinction, following feelings versus following decisions, that feels incredibly potent.
It is.
And the sources highlight that pretty much every successful person you admire, anyone who's achieved remarkable things, they mastered this truth.
They didn't get lucky or just feel like it all the time.
No. They didn't get where they are because they felt like showing up every single day. They got there by acting when it was inconvenient, when it was painful, when it was boring, or just plain difficult.
Like that athlete training in the driving rain you mentioned. No cameras, no crowds, just the work.
Or the writer showing up to the blank page when inspiration feels miles away just because it's Tuesday at 9 a.m. and that's writing time.
That consistent, unglamorous, often invisible effort that is discipline in action.
It's choosing commitment over comfort every single time.
Yeah. And the sources are, well, pretty bold, almost confrontational about how unreliable our emotions are as guides for this kind of action.
How so?
They just declare, emotion lies.
Straight up, emotion lies.
Yep. It tells you to rest when you need to push, to stop when you should go, to settle when you were built to rise. It really challenges our instinct to trust our feelings as truth.
But they offer a counterpoint, right? A way out.
They do. They say, the moment you start making choices based on what must be done, not how you feel, your entire life shifts.
Your entire life shifts. That's huge.
It's presented as a complete paradigm change, a fundamental reorientation of how you navigate your daily life.
Okay, so this raises a critical question then. Why are our feelings often such unreliable guides when we're pursuing growth or long-term goals?
Well, the sources suggest emotions are just inherently transient, right? They shift like the wind. They're easily swayed by the pull of immediate gratification, the fear of discomfort, the siren song of ease.
The focus on the now, not the long game.
Exactly. Discipline, in stark contrast, offers stability, consistency. It acts as your anchor in that turbulent sea of internal feelings.
An anchor. I like that.
Yeah. It doesn't ask how you feel, it demands action. It's that unwavering commitment to your long-term vision, to your higher self, regardless of the emotional weather report for today.
It's consciously choosing to act in line with your values, even when your feelings are throwing a tantrum.
Precisely. Even when they're protesting very loudly.
So, okay, bringing this down to earth, what does this mean for you listening on a practical level?
Well, it means learning to stop negotiating with your feelings so much.
Negotiating.
Yeah.
Like they're not the boss.
Right. The sources remind us feelings are not facts. Hard doesn't necessarily mean wrong. Fear doesn't automatically mean stop.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Imagine you need to have a really difficult but necessary conversation. Maybe with a colleague about a project, or a family member about something sensitive, or even just with yourself about a habit you need to change.
Okay, yeah. The conversations we dread.
Exactly. Your emotions are probably screaming, avoid it, put it off, it'll be awkward, uncomfortable, maybe even painful.
Standard avoidance reaction.
But discipline, that quiet, resolute inner voice grounded in your decision, demands you show up. Speak your truth. Engage. Because you know it's what must be done for growth or resolution or progress.
So you override the emotional no with a disciplined yes.
That's the idea. And this consistent act of showing up, despite that emotional resistance, it builds something truly remarkable inside you over time.
What does it build?
Resilience, trust in yourself, integrity.
And the sources also clarify, importantly, I think, that discipline isn't about perfection.
Yes. Crucial point. It's not about never messing up.
No, it's about consistency. It's about building standards that don't move even when life does. It's that quiet, resolute voice in your head when you're faced with doing the hard thing, saying,
I don't feel like it, but I'm doing it anyway.
that's the mantra. That, they argue, is the hallmark of true commitment and the foundation of real, lasting success.
And what's truly fascinating here is the transformation they describe happening over time through this consistent application of discipline, doing it anyway.
How happens?
Eventually, the sources suggest the things that once felt impossible are just your habits.
They become automatic.
More or less. The workouts, the early mornings, the intense focus, the unwavering self-control, these things that were once a battle become your new normal.
And that's the point, they argue, when discipline becomes freedom.
Yes. It sounds paradoxical. Discipline equals freedom. But think about it.
Explain that. How does discipline become freedom?
It's the freedom that comes from your body obeying your mind, not your whims. Your actions aligning effortlessly with your purpose. Your will becoming so honed that it just crushes weakness and indecision before they even get traction.
So the structure creates freedom.
Exactly. It's a process where that conscious, sometimes really painful effort transmutes into effortless mastery. The initial struggle becomes an unconscious, integrated part of who you are.
Okay, let's use that musician analogy again. The virtuoso practicing scales for hours, day after day, year after year.
Right. Initially, it's pure tedium, right? A battle against boredom, sore fingers, mental fatigue.
Totally.
But over time, through sheer unwavering discipline, those scales become effortless. They become a natural extension of their talent, flowing without conscious thought.
The mechanics become automatic.
And that mastery then frees them. It frees them to create beautiful, complex music, to improvise, to express themselves fully without being constantly bogged down by the technical grind.
That's discipline leading directly to mastery and then ultimately to this profound freedom of expression.
Exactly. And this level of transformation, the sources tell us, requires something even more radical, something beyond just habit change.
Okay, what's more radical than that?
It requires a kind of death.
Wow. Okay. Transformation demands a funeral. That's a stark concept from the sources.
It is stark. And they don't seem to be speaking metaphorically in a gentle, letting go kind of way. They mean it quite intensely.
What needs to have a funeral?
The outdated beliefs we hold, the broken stories we tell ourselves about why we can't do things, the excuses we've clung to, maybe for years, like a security blanket.
All that baggage.
All of it. It all has to die, they say. Because the future you truly crave, the version of yourself you aspire to become, cannot be built on the past you're clinging to.
Can't build a new house on crumbling foundations.
Precisely. It requires a deliberate, conscious severing from those old parts.
And this is a brutal, yet incredibly potent metaphor, isn't it? The sources emphasize that just tweaking things, partial improvement, isn't enough for real transformation.
No, they contend that growth isn't about slight improvement, it's about complete reinvention.
Complete reinvention.
Yeah. Which necessitates this profound shedding, this radical letting go, to the point, they say, where you barely recognize who you used to be.
That's intense, barely recognizing yourself.
It's not just about stopping a bad habit. It's about actively severing ties with the old self, consciously burying those parts of you that hold you back, that keep you small and comfortable.
So it's like self-creation through a kind of necessary self-destruction.
That's a good way to put it. You have to dismantle the old structure to build the new one.
It's such a vivid image. You just cannot drag procrastination into a disciplined life. You can't carry fear and doubt into acts of courage.
Doesn't work.
You can't walk into greatness with your pocket still full of those comfortable old excuses, whispering their familiar lies.
No. And the sources are so direct. Comfort is the coffin of your potential.
The coffin of your potential. Wow.
And fear is the hand that closes the lid. It's about recognizing that for the new you, the potential you, to truly breathe, you have to actively leave behind all that baggage, the limiting beliefs, the fears, the excuses that have defined and contained you for so long.
It's an act of liberation, but it sounds hard.
Oh, they don't pretend it's easy. They describe growth itself in these very vivid, almost visceral terms. It shatters any illusion of a gentle, comfortable evolution.
What do they say?
They state, growth is violent.
Violent.
Yeah. It tears apart comfort zones, rips away safety nets, and forces you to face everything you've avoided. It's not presented as a calm breeze. It's a fiery crucible.
But there's a purpose to the fire.
Absolutely. It is in that fire the new you is forged. It's through this process of intentional disruption, of facing the discomfort, that true strength and resilience are actually built.
And this highlights that true, deep change often isn't linear. It's messy, maybe painful sometimes.
Very much so. The sources depict transformation not as some single Big Bang event, but as death and rebirth every single day.
Every day.
Yeah.
Every single choice you make for discipline. Every hard thing you do that you initially resisted. It isn't just an isolated action. It's an act that simultaneously buries a part of the old, weaker self.
Okay.
And gives birth to a stronger, more capable new self. It's this continuous, active process of shedding and becoming. It acknowledges that the comfortable, safe self has to continually give way for the stronger, evolved self to emerge.
It's like a daily revolution against your own past limitations.
Exactly, a daily choosing of the future self over the past self.
Now, here's something fascinating and maybe a bit counterintuitive. The sources suggest you'll know you're really changing when you start to grieve the old self.
Grieve, like feel sad about leaving it behind.
Yeah. When you feel a genuine sense of loss, mourning, almost for the habits, maybe even some people or environments, and definitely the mindsets that once defined you, but that you're now consciously leaving behind.
That's unexpected. Why grief? Because it's like leaving behind an old familiar home. Even if it was limiting, it was known. It feels like a loss, because it is a loss. The loss of those comfortable, weaker parts of yourself that you've outgrown, that you're actively choosing to let die.
So you mourn what was, even as you're stepping into what will be.
Exactly. It's presented as this bittersweet, but totally necessary rite of passage in true transformation.
Wow. Okay.
So the core idea here then is just absolutely uncompromising. You cannot cling to ashes and expect a new flame to rise, right?
Makes sense.
You can't step into your highest purpose while you're still dragging the corpse of your past self, burdened by all those old excuses and fears. The sources are crystal clear. Every thought, every action is either building you up or breaking you down.
No neutral ground.
None. Every single micro-choice contributes to one side or the other in this internal war.
Which raises that deeply personal question for each of us listening. If this transformation, this funeral is so essential, what precisely must die within us?
Right. What needs to go in the coffin?
The sources are explicit. They leave no room for doubt. They call for death to the part of you that quits, death to the mindset that plays small, death to the voice that says you're not enough.
Got it.
Kill the fear, bury the doubt, silence the excuses. This isn't presented as a passive wish like, oh, I hope I stop quitting. It's an active, decisive act, a declaration of war against those internal forces of mediocrity.
It's like performing an internal exorcism, actively choosing to eliminate these self-sabotaging elements.
That's the energy, yes, an active removal.
And the goal. What rises from those ashes?
The goal, the sources tell us, is to rise into the version of you that is relentless, disciplined, and unstoppable.
Relentless, disciplined, unstoppable.
The one who walks with purpose, speaks with truth, and lives with fire. That higher, more capable version of you, it's waiting. It's within reach.
There's always a but.
But the texts powerfully conclude, it cannot breathe until you let the old you die. That magnificent future self cannot coexist with the parts of you still clinging to comfort and weakness. You have to make the ultimate choice, daily, moment by moment.
Wow. Let the old you die so the real you can live.
That's the essence of it.
And so here we are, brought full circle by the sources.
Okay.
Back to the central, inescapable theme of this whole deep dive. The real battle isn't against the world. It's against you.
Always comes back to the internal, doesn't it?
Always. Inside, they say, two versions of yourself are at war. You've got your higher self, disciplined, focused, relentless, driven by purpose.
The aspirational you.
And then you've got your weaker self, fueled by fear, clinging desperately to comfort, easily distracted, and always ready with an excuse.
The default you, maybe?
Could be. And this is presented as an inescapable, ever-present internal conflict. It's happening right now as you listen.
And here's the stark truth. These sources absolutely refuse to sugarcoat. There is no middle ground.
No truce possible.
Apparently not. Every single thought, every action, every decision you make, no matter how small it seems, it either feeds one of these versions or it stars the other.
So even doing nothing is a choice.
Absolutely. It means neutrality isn't an option. We are always, in every moment, making a choice. Even by inaction, we are choosing. And what's truly fascinating, almost alarming, is the life or death framing they use for this internal conflict.
Life or death, that seems extreme.
It does, but it elevates the stakes way beyond just simple self-improvement. It becomes this fundamental fight for your very identity, your purpose, your potential. Everything is on the line.
And that weaker self, it's a cunning adversary, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Master manipulator.
It whispers seductive lies. You've done enough. You can rest. Try again tomorrow. Sounds so reasonable, so kind.
Like it's protecting you, keeping you safe from failure, from judgment, from discomfort.
Yeah, but the sources reveal the chilling reality behind that protection. All it's doing is keeping you small.
Its goal isn't your greatness.
No, its goal is not your achievement. Its goal is merely its own survival, its own comfort. To maintain the status quo, even if that status quo is miles below your true potential.
It's the voice of stagnation wearing a mask of self-care.
That's a great way to put it. And the sources make it undeniably clear. This war never ends.
No days off, no vacations.
Nope, it doesn't take days off. Every morning, every moment, you must decide who you're going to be. And here's the critical part. And if you don't actively choose, your weaker self will.
The default takes over.
Exactly. It's a crucial insight. The default setting for many of us, maybe human nature itself, often leans towards comfort. So an active, conscious, deliberate choice for discipline and growth is always required. Always.
Without that conscious intervention, the path of least resistance, the path of the weaker self will inevitably win out.
And this emphasizes the continuous, relentless nature of the battle. The sources suggest most people lose this war. Not because they lack potential.
Why then?
But because they make peace with mediocrity. They allow that weaker, comfort-seeking self to become their default identity. They just stop fighting.
Wow. Making peace with mediocrity, that's sobering.
It is. And it's presented as this powerful, urgent call to actively intervene in our own lives, to consciously choose against the default, to not let the inertia of comfort win.
It's a profound reminder that inaction is a choice. And usually it's a choice that favors the weaker self and leads away from real fulfillment.
But here's the thing. You, listening right now, you're probably not most people.
Why do you say that?
Because you wouldn't be here engaging with challenging ideas like this if you were content with mediocrity. Inside you, there's a voice that refuses to settle.
The higher self.
That's your higher self, your unstoppable self. And the sources say it's screaming to be set free, tired of being buried under layers of excuses and fear and self-doubt.
So how do we set it free?
To let that version lead, to truly unleash its power, you have to, as the sources put it, kill the parts of you that keep your weaker self alive. Your comfort, your laziness, your indecision, they must die.
There's that death concept again. Kill the comfort, the laziness, the indecision.
It's not just a suggestion. It's framed as a call to arms for your own internal revelation, a necessary act of profound self-liberation. You have to clear the ground for the higher self to rise.
And the sources warn us, don't they, that this path, this growth, it's not easy.
Not at all. They say with unflinching honesty that this path of growth is brutal. It will tear apart your comfortable lives. It will shatter your cherished excuses. It will demand everything from you.
Sounds daunting.
It does. But on the other side of that pain, power, clarity, strength, freedom. It's presented as an investment in your future self that yields these incredible transformative returns, far beyond anything you can imagine if you just stay huddled in the cage of comfort.
And if we connect this back to the bigger picture, the ultimate cost of losing this war, of letting the weaker self win, of letting comfort conquer discipline, it's framed as nothing less than
Everything.
yeah, your purpose, your destiny, your legacy. It elevates these daily choices, snooze button or get up, scroll or work, easy way or hard way, beyond just self-improvement. It makes them existential.
It's not just about having a better day or a more productive week.
No, it's about building a better life, crafting a more impactful existence, ultimately fulfilling the reason you are here. The consequences of not consciously fighting this internal war are truly profound, echoing through everything.
So this is yours.
Yay.
Every single day. Every single moment. Decide.
Actively choose.
Starve the weakness. Silence the doubt. Honor that fire inside you that refuses to settle for less. Every single morning when you open your eyes, you're given the choice. Two versions of you wake up to. One will die today, one will live today.
Choose wisely.
Choose wisely. And fight like your life depends on it. Because the sources are crystal clear. It does. Hashtag tag outro after bar.
Well, this deep dive into the war within, discipline versus comfort, it's really shown us, hasn't it, that the most significant battles, the truly defining ones we face, they're rarely external. They're almost always within.
Yeah, they came through loud and clear.
This ceaseless conflict, this tension between our natural pull towards comfort and our inherent drive for growth, for discipline, it's not just some abstract philosophical concept. It's a profound daily reality playing out in every single thought, every single action.
Every choice counts.
Every choice, no matter how small it feels, whether you choose ease or you choose effort, it casts a definitive vote, a vote for the person you are actively right now becoming.
Okay, so as you step back into your day, carrying these pretty intense insights with you, maybe consider this final provocative thought, just for you listening.
All right, let's hear it.
What is one specific uncomfortable choice you can make today? Could be big, could feel really minor, but what's one choice that serves as a direct death to an old habit, a limiting mindset, or maybe a comforting excuse you know you've been clinging to?
Killing off something specific.
Yeah. And in making that uncomfortable choice, how does it simultaneously cast a powerful vote for your higher, more disciplined, unstoppable self? Think about it. Your future self is watching, waiting. What will you choose to let die today so something truly extraordinary can finally live?
Heavy question to end on, but a necessary one.
Definitely. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We genuinely hope these insights inspire you to fight fiercely, consciously, and relentlessly for the version of yourself you were truly meant to be.
Keep fighting that good fight within.
Absolutely. Until next time, keep diving deep.